Yeah.
Like if I get something wrong, I go.
We can resuscitate you really quick.
I know, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, good. Super. It's like it's very, yeah.
I tried to, is it too hot? I cranked up the heat. I thought it was gonna be cold, so I cranked it up. Okay, we can turn it down. Thanks for saying
In
something.
comparison to the, you know, balmy 30 degrees outside. Actually, that's been on Friday. Like,
But you don't want to sell.
I don't, yeah, that's pretty bad. Probably wasn't.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
What's your
Hey guys, how are you?
How are you?
Good. Here.
That's
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't want to say.
Like Johnny does. Objection, you asked the question. You asked the question. Yes. That is such a good one. It's kind of like regulation budget. I'll read it for you. No, really? They're a bunch.
I'm afraid who's gonna be president.
Stalsky?
Oh, no. I'm glad
Here.
Definitely guys. Awesome.
Where was that? Oh, that's good.
Good morning.
Cool. Yeah.
How are you, Steve?
Or you guide me, you're the one doing that. It's on you. And it's really being frustrating when I watch your face to see your frustration. She's like, she's really frustrated. She's like processing like serious. Last customers.
I mean.
Because honestly,
It's very. Yeah, I didn't hear you. That's why you were here a little outside.
they was with me at
Oh,
first.
it's not that bad.
Some season there.
It was weird.
At the same time. we had- yeah. And I remember they
I'll
were.
wait until she can call me over.
and Getting one of the sheets that runs and that and stuff like that.
Six, more. Yes.
Yeah, if it is, I will be very
Wow. Alright.
if it's not.
So I was convinced.
Yes, I insist.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is 8 AM on Wednesday, May 4th, and I call this meeting of the Georgetown Justice and Motion Commission to order. We have roll call, please.
Kevin Kahara,
Present.
Kyle Rudden,
Here.
Paul Boak,
Present.
Steve Sosky,
Here.
Jenny Cooper,
Here.
Mary Smith,
Here.
Katie Rutton,
Here.
Jerry Haynes.
Excellent. The only agenda item that needs to be updated is the inclusion of a brief discussion about a potential lodging tax at the end of the agenda. Are there any of the amendments to the agenda before we motion for approval?
Can we also get an update on the fogs for the Alpine Hills and the status and the lights on C3?
Some of those, can I just have a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
And a second, please. All in favor? Motion carries, and it's approved. And our next agenda item is audience business, so welcome. You guys can, Carly? Yes. Awesome. Well, we know this guy. Good morning, how are you, sir? Hi, you guys should have right in the nick of time. Well, it is, audience business, so if you guys want to go ahead and, tell us what you're visiting for, or if you're just observing, we'd love to hear what's happening at the training.
All right, I'll do this. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Brad, I'm the Director of Operations at the railroad, which means I head up everything business-wise, events, that sort of thing. Harley's my assistant, she heads up, social media marketing. She's also my assistant on events and distributing. Yes, sorry, I went up the stairs. The reason we came this morning is we wanted to let you know where the railroad is for the season, what we're planning, what's going on. I know you guys met with our Christmas lights guy yesterday. We met with him right afterwards. Got some really good things planned for this year. So, event, well, we are running. We're open weekends. We will start running full time starting the 13th, which means every day. Right now, I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, next Monday, we're trying to meet the needs of some groups. So sometimes we'll meet on the weekend or during the week. Typical railroad hours. First run out normally 10 a.m. Last run out 3:50 p.m. The events we have planned. First one's actually this weekend. We have Mother's Day weekend this weekend. We do 2 weekends for Mother's Day, just so that we can cover everybody. We'll be handing out roses and candies to everybody. Well, not everybody, mothers and grandmothers. Then our next event will be the first 2 weekends in June, Wild West Days. The week after that, the 3rd week in June, we have Father's Day. We'll be handing out Father's Day mugs and brownies.
No roses, flowers.
We could if you want. But yeah, the dad's perfect brownies. So got that going on in June. Things pick up in June for us, so we really don't have a lot of events after that. We don't have anything special planned for 4th of July, with the exception of just bringing regular trains. Then the next set of events coming up will be the last 2 weekends in August. Again, we'll have Wild West Days. The part-time regulars will be here again, robbing our trains. We love having them in the best, so. They've become a very important part of what we do. One of the things, I'm going to stop here real quick to kind of let you guys know what we are doing. And we never came up with their written motto, right? Our theme, our motto, whatever it is live the Wild West. And that's what we're really pushing right now as far as branding goes. That's why Wild West Days are very, very important to us. It kind of sets us apart from other railroads. Royal Gorge, there steam engines. But that's what we're trying to do, is make it more of a, maybe, I don't want to say historically accurate, but historical. So people can step out of 21st century, step back into the Wild West Days. In order to do that, Wild West Days helps us out hugely there. We are going to do a couple of other things. We're going to have some character actors that will be at the railroad on non-event days, probably most of the weekends, portraying. We've got an old sheriff, West sheriff. He'll also be a miner, Mark Twain, Civil War veteran, going around meeting and greeting guests, talking to them. We really, really want to create that atmosphere and environment with the railroad. And we're hoping that the town will jump in and help us do that down here as well, so that people have a seamless experience going up the railroad as they come down and see you guys, well, not you guys, I'm too, down the road and stop and visit with you here in town. So back to the events. After the second railroad days in August, the fall colors. We call it an event, But it just depends on when the leaves want to turn and how long. We are complete mercy of nature here, but we do big business. Either way, people just assume that leaves are turning, so we call it events because we are very, very busy that time of year. After that, the first 2 weekends in October are Pumpkin Fest. It's geared towards kids. Each child gets a pumpkin as they get off the train. Last year, I'm hoping to do it again this year. The museum up in Silver Plume we turned into, I don't want to call it a haunted house because it's more, they go in, they can have face painting, there were games to play, there were photo ops. It was, I should have brought pictures, but it was, the kids loved it, absolutely loved it. So that's kind of our Halloween part of the train events. After that, the next 2 weeks, which will be Autumn Fest. We used to call it Oktoberfest. We changed it simply because A, everyone's doing Oktoberfest, and B, we changed the way we handle it. We did beer tasting. We no longer do that. COVID probably was the big reason for that. But we do partner with Tommy Knockers and Vanilla Pass. They do bring up their beers, and I think we offer, correct me if I'm wrong, 8 ounce complimentary. Yeah, we do that for them. We used to do brats. I'll be honest with you, we were having a hard time getting staff, so we need to run the train, and brats fell by the wayside. Whether we'll do that again or not, I don't know. Staffing wise, we're looking pretty good this year. Do you know if we're doing a Halloween train? The last couple of years, we actually did a Halloween train where we invited the kids to dress up, whether they did or not, they got a little bag of candy and left over from the Pumpkin Fest, we saw the decorations up for Halloween, so the kids got to see that. After that, we take a week off and then we jump right into our Santa season. Last year we did start a week earlier, and good thing we did. And we had this discussion yesterday, in excess of 50,000 people for Santa trains, and that's in about 7 weeks. And that's not even running every day. So we were busy. And to kind of give you a perspective, we did 50,000 in about 7 weeks. Over the entire season, we did 234,000, which is a record. The prior record to that was 2019 at 193,000. So one of the benefits, so that everybody knows what we've been doing during the pandemic, is learning to run better. And we really learned how to run better, and we were able to put more people on the trains. One of the other things we do as well is we learned through the pandemic to increase our capacity, but it's also a huge draw for guests. A lot of the weekends during the summer, we actually do run 2 trains. We have one depart out of Bell State, one depart out of Silver Plume. They pass each other. People love that photo op. You have these 2 steam locomotives going past each other, and cameras are going fast and furious. And it's a huge, huge draw. And we do try to run both of our steam locomotives if at all possible. They are antiques, and sometimes they don't allow us to run. But Santa season, for those of you, I hope everyone here has been on a Santa or like a train. If not, give us a call. We'll make sure you get on one. We aren't looking for reservations quite yet. We're still getting Christmas. Yeah, we're still working on some things. But so that you understand, Santa train, it's now called, for avoiding trademark issues, Santa's Rocky Mountain Adventure. Don't call it Polar Express. Yeah, our friends down the hill have that trademark. That would be the day trains. Again, we start at 10:45 in the morning, and the last day train is 3:30. Yeah, no, yes, it is. It's 3:30. Yeah, it's 3:30. And then our line trains are 5, 6:30, and 8. We are going to increase the number of lights. That's a discussion we had yesterday. We have found areas that need to be lit better, more, and the company we work with is very, they like us because we give them markets. And they donated some things to us for this season that you gotta come see. I'm not telling you what it is. You were there for the discussion. Okay. I can't wait. This is gonna be so cool. The other thing we're doing, and again, this is gonna tie a little bit into, not a little bit, this ties into what the town does. Over the past couple of years, our Santas, we have some of the best Santas ever. They're all real bearded Santas, they have a society. They will complain. They don't like being on the train after the 25th because kids are like, you promised you. So we came up with something called Victorian Holiday Celebration. And we've done that the last couple of years. Kids are still welcome, but it's a little more adult oriented. Basically what it is, our Santas are no longer Santas, they are now the Ghost of Christmas Present. Present, the big guy, the one that looks like Santa, hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we kind of got that one. But they come dressed up in long robes, and we've got our Santas do a beautiful job. Our character actor is Ebenezer Scrooge, and they go up and down the train talking to everybody about this wonderful experience they had at Christmas and how it has changed their lives. And it's a very Victorian type thing. It's worked out just wonderfully. Santas love doing it. When Santa loves doing it, everyone loves it. There's some great photo ops, and again, the people that, we're saying, look, it's Ghost of Christmas Present. He sure looks like a Victorian Santa, which has worked out just beautifully for us. And so, if you guys have any ideas on how to tie into this, the 26th through the 1st, so it's about a week. And the January 1st will be our last day this year. So,
You guys are gonna do that last week of Christmas break?
oh yeah, well, we're closed the 25th and then we run until the 1st.
Okay.
We'll be done on the 1st, and then we're here for 2023. One thing I forgot to mention too, for Wild West Days, one of the changes we made in order to enhance what Harley calls branding. She's been teaching me a lot about
So proud.
marketing. She does a great job. We are inviting our guests to dress up in Old West style. A lot of photo ops, especially for things like Facebook and Instagram. Again, Harley's been doing a beautiful job of getting that up and running. We had a presence on social media, but it wasn't great. And she's done a wonderful job about getting it out there, coming up with ideas and some great events to help us improve that. So if you see people wandering around town dressed up in the Old West, that's us. So, we're here. And we also like sensitive to people's needs, and we've asked people as they dress up, even though the regulators do carry guns, we don't want any of our guests carry any weapons at all. So, we've asked them to refrain. Do you guys have any questions for us as far as advancing timelines?
Are you going to be running on the second weekend of November for the Sheep Festival?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything you'd like us to do? I mean, I know you guys send the Bighorn Sheep up, which is always a lot of fun. Anything we can do? Yeah, he's okay.
Oh, Albert.
Albert,
We
yes.
send it, we're having a meeting this week, we're getting toward the finalization parts of it and just starting to run. So what I'll do is, we'll get with more stuff. I know that we'd like to have people up there.
Good.
There was a point when some of our people stopped riding because it was a conflict. The information you're getting out, which is great. But I will email you, I think, one of you too, and we'll make sure that we're working together on it. And you can tell me what you need from us, and I'll find out what you request that we can pay off. Cool.
Yeah, anything we can help.
Awesome.
Yeah,
We're branding.
We're branding.
not a question, just a comment, so, obviously the train remains critical to any business down here in Georgetown, especially downtown. For your purposes, I don't know how things work cross promotionally or whatever, but we do have some businesses that are gonna open up or have opened up downtown. 511 Rose opened up Old West bourbon bar atmosphere with a nice menu, bistro menu. And Silverbrook will open up hopefully in the next few weeks, right on the campus of Pinellas Pass, and that's an old restored 1860s building, and it kind of ties into, everything you're talking about, and that'll be, even the hours will be kind of geared towards trying to have trained guests have a better experience coming into downtown Georgetown. We'll have a coffee, we'll be roasting our own coffee in the morning, and it'll be a morning till evening venue, and, so as Lucha's gets rebuilt and whatever reincarnation that'll be downtown, hopefully the train, understands that, there's a lot of people downtown that are trying to work hard to make the whole thing work, because you guys bring in a lot of people, so.
And just to let you know, we do everything that we can on the train itself to promote the town. I know that we instruct our staff, if you haven't ridden the train staff is really good while on the train, encouraging people to head down here after their trip. Visit, and they mentioned the Victorian part of it, and mentioned the restaurants, that sort of thing. My staff as well, the ticketing staff in my office. I always joke with my staff that they're a travel agency. Yeah, just an interesting fact, and I'm trying to get these numbers right. I think it's up to 90% of our reservations are now done online, which means a lot of times when people call, they're not interested in reservations. They want to know what you do when you get to Georgetown, where do you stay, where do you eat, what's there to do. And so I always encourage my ticketing and reservation staff to know what's going on, be out and around in town so you know what to recommend, where to stay, what to do. And I sometimes like, I was on that last call for 45 minutes planning their vacation to Georgetown. And basically that's one of the things we do. And Harley, if she wants to address this real quickly, last weekend we had a fairly heavy presence at the Denver Travel Show downtown. We had 2 booths. Do you want to talk about this? Because you were there and I wasn't.
Yeah. So really what we're trying to do, of course, is draw people up to Georgetown, but we're trying to, again, bring that Old West history back and make it more inclusive, where it's including the town and the whole area. Because coming out to Georgetown for, say, a 2-hour trip on the train doesn't feel like your day. So with that, we're trying to kind of pair it with everything else in the town to sell it as a day trip, essentially. Come out that for the 10 a.m. train ride, and then here after, go to these museums, walk through downtown. And I think trying to market it as like a whole travel package, like a day thing that you can go and do, spend your day in Georgetown, spend your whole weekend here. I think it's going to be great for everyone involved.
And again, so that everybody understands with the railroad, our whole mindset is, yes, come to the train. And people would come to the train whether we market or not. It has been around so long. But when we do market, and we do spend 6 figures in marketing every year. And we make sure that it's marketing Georgetown, Railroad, Georgetown, Clear Creek County, and Colorado. All of those things are included in almost all of our marketing. Mark has made that perfectly clear to all of us that we are marketing the railroad, the town, the county, and the state. And so we're all on board with that. I absolutely agree with Mark on that. Our demographics have changed over the last couple of years. We draw a lot more from Colorado right now than we have from other states. And we're hoping our international travelers will be back for this year. That used to be a big market. Prior to 2020, there was a huge, especially in the summer and fall, we did a lot of numbers in international. And I haven't looked at our numbers this year yet. You spend more time on the phone, yes, but it looks like it is trending back.
Yeah, out of East Coast already, and there's like Chicago area. Definitely travel is picking up, which is great for us, because it brings out a lot more people.
Do you have any data on overnight stays for your guests? How many of your guests are staying overnight in the county?
That we don't. I can tell you one thing. I do own a short-term rental. And interestingly enough, during the summer, on weekends, it's people coming up from Denver that stay the night here, they come up, ride the train, stay the night, then leave the next day. So I mean, that's anecdotal, but yeah, we don't track what they do before and after. So we just urge them and encourage them.
Do you guys have, any plans? You said you're primarily steam this year. Will you run the diesel if?
Oh, absolutely.
Steam's what people like.
Yeah, yes. We literally have people call up and plan their vacation around when we are running steam. We were running it right now. The 40's up and running, I'm sure you heard it's Wessel on the weekends. Yep, the 111 will probably be up and running for Memorial Day weekend. We're keeping our fingers crossed. I mean, it's ready to go. We're missing one part that keeps it from being out on the track, but it's sitting at the Silver Plume looking really amazing when people come in. The 12, who knows? That's a complete total refurbishment there. And it is not meant for mountains. It's, for us, it's kind of an extra two-wheel train, but it doesn't pull its weight.
It's trouble.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, little story about that. My dad's favorite spot to go on vacation during when I was growing up was Hawaii. We would go every year during spring break. I actually rode behind the 12 when I was a little kid.
Oh,
It was
no.
the Pineapple Princess. That was the Pineapple Princess. So it's kind of but yeah, the diesels, we currently have 3 working diesels. They're more rescue trains than anything. If one of our steam engines needs to be down for anything, routine maintenance, there's a certain number of days we're allowed to run before we take them down and go over them completely. That's just FRA, federal regulation, not a choice. That's the reason why if there's 2 steams, we try and have one of them up, but normally there'll be a Wednesday that you'll see diesel out, or if one of the antique locomotives does the sites, it's just not gonna run. That happens.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
It's been good so far.
Yeah, they're both, we've done a good job of maintaining, my engine house staff is one of the best around, and these are people that, you can't just go out and find one. It's not like this is something you go to school for. And they're doing just an excellent job of keeping us up and running constantly.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions? And we, obviously, as a community and as businesses are very grateful for all you do, and we're really excited to support you for the upcoming season. And thank you for bringing 234,000 people. So 250 this year.
Yeah, again, if you need, let us know, we will do whatever we can, cross promoting, we want to be a part of the community, so.
Well, you're an amazing part of it. Thank you for taking the time to come see us this morning. If you'd like to hang out for the rest of the agenda, we are going to talk about Georgetown Days, plans for the 4th of July, and then a proposed event for August. But understand you guys are not in a position to do so.
I mean, I can't do all of that, because we've got meetings, we can hang out for a few.
You're fine, no worries. So that was all we have for audience business. It doesn't look like we have any owner, new managers or anyone here for new businesses today. If you guys haven't had a chance to go to the new place right below us, it's very cool. It is called the Chef's Corner, is that right? I want to say it the right way. He's got like artisan meats and cheeses. Really nice guy. He brought us a cheese plate, so if we missed the last meeting, bummer to you. Yeah, it's cool. I guess. I mean, I don't know. No, go ahead.
So,
Steve would like to talk about.
do I need to go move into the pews here?
No, you're fine.
Silver Brick Tavern is coming along. We may have a very soft opening Memorial Weekend, if we can get everything put together. The concept is gonna be a full bar, craft cocktails, wines. We'll have Silver Brick branded beers that are co-brewed with one of the first 10 breweries in Denver. Strange Craft Breweries, a good partner of ours, and so we will collaborate on Silver Brick beers, and then there'll be a couple of Guanella Pass beers and a couple of Strange Craft Brewery beers up there, and we're getting a menu together. The Silver Brick will be an elk Alpine themed food menu. So picture of going anywhere in the Alps, and that cuisine is what we're trying to replicate in Silver Brook Tavern. And it shares the campus with Glen Pass Brewery, so you can walk around, but the menus will probably be different. You sit in the brewery, you have some pizza and wings, and you sit in Silver Brook Tavern, and you've got a different menu, different experience, so. And coffee roasting, will be roasting our own coffee. It's a vision to be a 7 a.m. till closing venue, 7 days a week, and so there'll be, it'll kind of have to, hopefully some choices down there.
Congratulations, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I
What's it
feel
looking
very
like?
excited. I'm super jazzed, because I want to have somebody to eat on it now.
You'll be so close.
I know, I will be, I'm
Yeah.
closer, hopefully.
Steve, are you taking reservations or is it just walking?
We may very well do that. That all of this is uncharted territory for me. I open the brewery up and we have beer slingers. And, we have more dogs than customers usually in the brewery, so. But we've got some professional help that will help us figure out what the right model is and everything. But there's gonna be enough seating for about 50 people indoors. And then we'll have, eventually have patio seating, but we're a fledgling business trying to put it all together.
I highly recommend the restaurant business, it's great. We're on the street. Congratulations, seriously, we're super excited for you guys. Any other new businesses or operations, anything I'm not talking about that I don't know about before we get into Georgetown Days? All right, we'll jump right in. Georgetown Days, this is our last meeting before the big event. So just I'll let you kind of go through your piece of that and see what loose ends we need to tie up for the weekend. I know we met the other day and everything's coming together really nicely for that. And I don't know if you have any progress on a few things that I saw.
Yes.
Good, excellent. Well, I will turn it over to Jen.
I'm just gonna kind of go like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, in order to, so everything's confirmed for Friday for locations for pancake, breakfast.
So we're
I heard back from
back-
everybody, yeah, back at the community center, like,
Sorry, but go ahead.
no, I did reach out to Dustin about the Mobile, sounds like they probably maybe around, I don't know, doesn't keep me one, but, for fun, I think it's fun. It doesn't tire, but it's fun. But anyway, yeah, the community center has backup, library park is fine. Andy thinks we should close off the street during that, I don't know if we did that last year, I wasn't here. But because it's a smaller space, I think he feels like we should close off around.
But it was only like close off of the ribbon cutting, wasn't it? We didn't like close it, did not.
We just sort of stood there.
Yeah.
We basically just walked in the street and
We're
we're like,
so
oh,
far,
so
so
far.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
probably right.
If you
But
feel
I
like we
think
should
maybe more
close
the
it.
breakfast is a concern, not.
Mhm.
No, I mean, we were all in Trust Park, so.
I mean, if he wants it closed, we should probably just do it.
So it's a short.
Yeah.
And it would just be like that block on Rose, right?
Yeah.
So we took the tables out,
We could expand the space that way, put more tables in there.
Yeah.
because we do have use courtyard and library as well, we can fund that, it would be better if we had the tables on Rose Street.
Would it be possible, and maybe I can ask Rick when he gets here, to see if we can have Road and Bridge move some of our extra bistro tables to the middle of Rose
For
for
sure.
the pancake breakfast, and then that also, the beneficiary for the pancake breakfast under versus the Clear Creek Veterans Coalition, so.
I got rid of it, so there's that, you just see them.
Oh, you did, I carrying them along.
This is.
Yeah, so there's those, and part of it. I got my.
Okay, sorry, go ahead, Jen, so we'll close the street, and talk about when Rick gets here, Road and Bridge will bistros, but
Yeah, I put it down so I can
awesome.
also ask it as well. Cool. So yeah, that's everything for Friday, I think, all that is good to go. So like her will be there.
And our usual suspects free to help?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, we'll be there. Can we cook and celebrate?
Sure.
Thanks.
So Saturday, so we've gone back and forth, and we talked, my opinion sort of changed a little bit on Saturday, post activities versus doing them on Sunday. Post a conversation with Paul about doing mountain jams, at its usual time, like we did last year, on that Saturday, one before.
Yeah, I was down for Saturday, but I didn't do anything for Friday.
No, Saturday, we were on Saturday.
Yeah, so I have a band that's already for Saturday. We do from, the actual band plays from 2 to 3:30. That's the contracted time. But then a lot of times Jacob Scott is gonna be doing the sound engineering for that. And so, Amy Rose Scott sometimes plays as the warm-up act, or we'll have camp music for that. So from 1 o'clock.
So then my feeling, it's like I've gone back and forth on extra, where the vendors, if we want to have vendor Saturday versus Sunday, and kind of back to Sunday for business days, as a place where the non-brick and mortar businesses can also have a presence, and putting that all on Sunday, potentially in the hotel affairs parking lot. Working with Kevin on that, but now we shifted a little bit from Saturday to Sunday, doing that. I'm just looking for opinion on that. My only shift in that was just because keeping the music, it's a one way, it's not one way, but there's enough of a separation between the two activities that I think pumping up business day and doing it that day, pairing that with the non-brick and mortars and having that space used for that on business day is what I'm feeling is the better of the two options, but that is a little bit of a shift from what we met on.
Thoughts, guys? I knew you, so go ahead and say it.
Last year with Mountain Jams, we had, camp music, and on Sundays, we ended it because it was so depressing, because everybody was traveling. I mean, but you're on 6th Street, you know that.
We're talking Memorial Day weekend for Sunday, for business days, Sunday was kind of like, we didn't have anything really strong for Georgetown News for that Sunday Memorial Day weekend, so it was coin business day. Where businesses could obviously do promotions, and then the thought we've had in the last couple meetings is inviting non-brick and mortar, so home-based businesses that are licensed in town to come and have a presence without having to pay a vendor fee. So if you have like something you sell on Etsy or outdoor discovery.
Yeah, they definitely have already reached out.
Yeah, so people that are not like in a physical storefront, but are obviously businesses in the community. So them getting to 6th Street. So the discussion point for the 6th Street business type thing that we're talking about is, do we do the activities like cornhole tournament and
Vendors, food
vendors
trucks.
on Saturday or Sunday? So how was 6th Street last year on Sunday versus Saturday? That's the question for you, sir.
We were pretty busy.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Both days.
So,
Good.
yeah.
How was your weekend?
I fully don't recall.
It was weird. Were we still in COVID fog last year? Were we 100% capacity? I can't remember. I think it was last year around this time.
I think that was like the first event that you were at full capacity. I didn't.
I think that's right. I think it was in the
This Saturday was.
when we were able to set up into our jobs again.
So Saturday, I'm just thinking Borough races and Mountain Dew, and Sunday, business day with vendors, not brick and mortar, and food truck, cornhole tournament Sunday. Does anyone not like that?
Well, do you have any data on how the hotels are doing? Have you reached out to any of the rentals to find out what their bookings look like?
I have not. I mean, I speak to them, but not in that like official data capacity. So I mean, it sounds like everybody's doing pretty well.
Because it would be interesting to know what the commitment levels are for
That's a good point.
Sunday night
Yeah.
versus Saturday.
Is your Airbnb booked on Sunday, Memorial Day weekend?
It is.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
We got one.
We got one.
All right, I will reach out and get insurance figured out.
That sounds like a good plan. And then Monday,
And then Monday, I had a super conversation with Troy Erickson yesterday. He is really running with this in a big way. He has some interesting proposal. They have a meeting tomorrow. So we're gonna follow up on Friday. But as far as the ceremony goes, he seems to have all of that really handled. He's not doing anything with Idle Springs yet. So he's 100% focused on it.
That's
Something happened with the marijuana thing, but he's really about Georgetown and making this, there will be some type of color guard, it won't be what we've had in the past, but there will be colors. So yeah, as far as the ceremony goes, we're doing a keynote speaker, and some of his proposals may be a little out there, so we'll probably want to talk about just a couple of things ceremony related. But he was really excited about it, it was a really good conversation, so I will follow up with him on Friday. Rob's got the music, singers, he's doing all that part is going to be handled by him. And Lynette is in for him.
Okay, cool.
That can be a really fast.
What time does that start?
I mean, I'm like everything in that room. I just need to make sure the room is flat, that's the only thing.
Oh, yeah.
So that's an issue. So I will get out there and raise the flag up and down a few times to make sure that it's good to go.
Okay. Awesome, well, it sounds like, Georgetown Days is pretty well buttoned up, anyone have anything?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
On Saturday, the 28th, day of the borough race, there will be a beer garden at Hotel de Paris in Courtyards in the Annex from 10 until 2, operated by Gwinnett Pass Brewery.
Cool.
Awesome.
And so it will be during, critical mass of the race.
No, cool.
And so
Nice.
when families are waiting for their runners to come back in, they can hang out in our courtyard.
That's really cool, I
Yeah.
love it, that's
So-
great.
It's a trial, I think it'll work.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful setting, and I think most of you have been back there. And there's no equivalent in Georgetown to that setting.
Yeah.
And the convenience factor, this is the block where the runners line up. And this is also the block where they finish.
Cool.
So it seems to be the right location.
And where the boroughs have a tendency to drop in certain squares.
What's happening, so that's all up to right? From the months of February.
And then that, but also when we get put, think that Sunday is a better day for additional events, particularly with that going on as well. The one thing I was gonna add is I'll get all of that to you today, Kyle, everything updated for that landing page. Can you give me all of the?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I can
I'm
update.
gonna
Because
go
we're
over
gonna
that
go
today.
over it, okay.
Yeah, I'll send you a visual and the description and times and location, all of it.
Okay, perfect. I want to have that landing page that we had so beautifully done last year, updated as soon as we can, by the end of the week, maybe, if I get it to you today, I don't know. Whatever, but as soon as we get out. I have in businesses who have their meeting. Yeah. And I think that I have like 15 to 20 businesses who have responded with offers and calls to action for that day, which is a lot more than I had in the past for them, so I think that's gonna really help, especially with the
Great.
so.
Any other questions or comments about Georgetown Days? Do you guys have any questions about Georgetown Days?
I know I worked with Jen a little bit getting our app put together, and I'll have 2 more to probably by the end of today to put in. If you guys need any cross promotion, again, just send it to me, we can throw it on our story or on our pages as well to kind of help cross promote. We've already done borough race, and we put that on our story, and it's definitely piques interest for people from out of town, so I think it's a great reason for people to come visit.
The borough race is really fun when people just show up and they're like, what is happening?
Yeah. What is this place?
And then you explain it and you're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like our first year living here that you're like, what's all of these boroughs?
We were living my kids have come in, and they're like, oh, there's donkeys outside. I was like, what are you talking about? There's donkeys outside.
So I walked outside and Connor was like, it's mom. No, Connor's a baby, sorry,
There's donkeys.
It was literally our first weekend in town.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
You know you arrived.
Yeah.
When there's donkeys running by your porch.
Is there like a, for the cornhole tournament, is there like a structure to it where teams sign up?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll have that, yes.
The only other thing, just as a comment on the Georgetown Days meeting page. If we could just update it to say Georgetown Business Promotions Commission is the organizer, not Georgetown Board of Promotions.
I just copied that. And it's really
No, it's-
I like that,
yeah. Policy, so you guys will get that updated
Yeah.
today or tomorrow.
I'll get all the information to be updated today.
Okay.
Sure. I think I have it all except for the copy, it's not, I'm going to send it for you.
Perfect. It's very exciting stuff, everybody. Looking forward to Georgetown Days. Next item on the agenda is 4th of July. What updates do we have for Independence Day?
The green has really been in Georgetown days and a lot less than the Fourth of July. I'm not gonna lie, but let me go. Basically, everybody that normally comes has been reached out to. I've got some responses back, so starting to make up a lineup. But how everybody's gonna go, looks like, when.
It's like, they don't go over the same.
They don't, I mean, I thought we would, well, I can't say I'll even home them at once, but it seemed like it was the usual. We've got the regulars, that's all good to go. 2 car clubs have responded. We're working, everything for like barbecue, all of our Reynolds pieces are in order, everything will be the way it always has been.
Yep.
Oh, hey, back to what I'm thinking about it, that's a taking purpose, is that still $8?
Sure.
Okay. That was.
Was it 80? I thought it was 6.
I think this was a discrepancy last year too.
Didn't we say we were gonna bump it down?
Yeah,
Because
I
8
think-
felt
It
excessive.
feels like a lot.
Okay.
I think
I
it
said
was,
that.
no, you're right, it was 8, but after, like, the pancakes were like, no, it's a bit small, and it was.
My pancakes were amazing.
They were great, I'm not saying they weren't. But it was like, I think we all were like $6.
Okay.
We did $1,000 in sales.
Yeah, that was crazy.
They'll be complaining.
No, no one did. Just get the butter and the sun.
Extra money, but it was for the veterans.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Just
So
six.
six.
Keep your
Six.
butter and the sun, so it's
Sorry,
nice and
that was a.
No, it's super So on the, so I did talk to Randy about beer garden, and he is good with the beer garden. His preference is Warland Park. This is for 4th of July.
Okay.
Bowick City Park is too crowded on the barbecue day, and it's a little tricky to regulate because we would have to rope off such a significant amount of real estate in City Park, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And I think it actually might be nice to spread out a little bit into Orland Park, so. Community Center will sponsor that, and then it just needs to be opened up to the people that like to pour beer in this community.
That'd be great if, it was talking to Kevin, yes.
It would be the hope is that we can work together. So, so that's the current plan. So, I know it'll be during the, good morning, Rick, how are you? Good, come sit. I don't know if you guys know our new town administrator. Carly Brian here today with the Georgetown.
Okay.
You can come sit up, you have to fix them over here.
Yeah, you're right.
You have to be on
Jen,
Yes.
the Hotel Paris will have an entry in the parade again this year.
Okay.
It'll be a golf cart with colonial dates.
Yay.
They're not gonna walk around it.
just, as long as it's not closed off of their vehicle, that's the only.
Yeah, just keep them, make sure no one hits the brakes too hard.
Yeah.
There are seatbelts involved.
Oh,
Nobody
perfect.
goes flying.
No one goes there.
On the Worthing Park, to just check it for food before.
Oh, definitely.
Let's clean that up.
Yeah.
And the kazoo band uses it to rehearse before the parade. It's
Oh,
very important.
Very early on the spot. That's good to know because I can't tell you how many people ask where the music band was rehearsing last year, of course I didn't know.
Really.
Now I do.
We have people from all over the world coming out.
Jen, for 4th of July, is that something with Parks and Rec be able to check the park the day before and then more.
Sure, yeah, I can pass that along.
That would be awesome, since we're gonna have a beer garden over there. That would be amazing, thank you so much. So I'll have the beer garden in Royal Park, the barbecue. There's probably not much else happening after the barbecue is kind of the consensus at this point. You said cornhole tournament, maybe. But that would also be Royal Park, right?
I'm still researching the Safe Street games. I would like to have those. Still some type of street game that we had talked about. I still have some ideas that are up for approval as to whether or not they're taken, like something. Yeah, like, we'll be having this hats, water stuff, but not really high.
Got it, I see.
Or dangerous.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah.
Except for home project.
Yeah, street type, I know, that's what I'm using. Not every day, but like on the ground type of, some type of activity. Going back to Roland Park, we talked a little bit about music in Roland Park, like a heavy sound band. Is that something we want to do?
There will be a band in City Park.
I don't want to chat from that.
That's only noon to a little bit after 1.
So we don't have any music after.
No, so if there's something like 1 to 2 or something.
He might.
I won't blow it away this time, I don't think, I can't guarantee it, but I would love to have them come back and have like
Oh, that's.
a non-99 wing experience.
Who is this?
The DJ that we had with us. The equipment was like everywhere.
He's a really fun guy.
He sort of like a star on the whole thing, right?
He does say really well, he texts me, he's like, so, I don't think I'll ever DJ outside in February for you. But I'll give you a note talk next time. So I can come back.
Are the regulators coming back downtown to perform, and what time is that?
So I think we're gonna do our performance after the break.
Okay.
So immediately after the break.
When everyone's still on.
And also music is being heavily worked on for the bands in library for the 4th of July as well.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep the schedule straight, so we have the parade, and then we'll have the regulators after the parade. And then are you guys gonna go to the barbecue?
What's that?
Are you guys gonna go to the barbecue?
Yeah, we'll be down.
Okay, how long will the regulators be around?
Most of the day.
Okay.
I'll probably Jim, we might go to do it in the afternoon after the barbecue.
Maybe if you could do one, I mean, would it be weird to do one like on house, like by City Park?
In between City Park and Roland Park?
Yeah, like on Park Street or house?
We'll probably have to move all the pops and stuff down there. So.
If you do the games, if we do the games approved, where in the timeline would that best fit? I'm just thinking, well, we didn't do anything like that last time when I seen.
Normally it's like a 2, it would start at like 2 in the afternoon.
Okay, so like maybe if they did a performance then as well, if we need to. It could be, I mean, that'd be the drawback and then we could cut out with the games.
Do we know how many businesses are gonna be open on the floor?
I'm working on that. Not
That
that many. so
That
far.
would influence where I would say we should put the games.
Okay,
Yeah. If there's not gonna be anyone open on 6th Street,
it's not,
and trains just running normal hours on the 4th, you guys are, it's just regular.
Regular. My store will be open on the 4th.
it's not. So we'll just corner.
The museum will be open before.
We'll be open before.
The gateway visitor center's open.
Maybe so.
So we're trying to have like a covered design for the businesses open, but if the entrance is open, then it's fine. No.
But the restaurants will be open,
They
the brewery,
will.
possibly Silverback.
We want them to stay here, it's just whether we want it, you know, where we, I don't know.
Hotel.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
Room.
to draw people.
Standard for keep the roads. Monday and back in the downtown area.
Well, it's 2 different holidays.
Oh, it's on right.
We're in
I
July.
can see if
We're
I
in
can
July.
remember
We're in
that,
July.
but like, yeah, that's usually good too.
Standard for.
I think the boroughs are on they're like in the Leadville or something, because they do a huge race in Leadville.
We have other public events.
Yeah, the boroughs are very, very busy. Yeah, the 4th is on the Monday this year.
So there are some things that need to be this time on the safety of the survey, it needs to be sort of buttoned up before, because that would be our last meeting before the 4th of July, would be the games. it's like regular timing for shows on Sixth Street. I'll have music by then to update. When was I? There was something else.
Timing for shows and then the street games.
Yeah,
There's
just
no
timing,
location of street
and
games.
businesses that are.
I mean, unfortunately about fireworks, we do kind of end up in a position where town doesn't really fizzles out. We try to keep people here, but you can't keep people here for some fireworks. It will be hard to say that if anyone's gonna have fireworks this year, honestly, the way things are shaping out.
Yeah,
Do you know, I tried to get us a drone display and it was, I had bids coming in at like, it was 35 and 40,000.
They'll come down, we spend on.
They'll come
we
down.
spend on Fireworks,
We spent
we
40,000.
spend a lot of money on fireworks, and they're talking about raising that money, and he is right, they'll come down because it's becoming more accessible.
Well, that's next
Let's
year.
do it.
Find us $40,000, serve for a drone
I
check.
will have a floating stage on.
And we're gonna have a floating stage. So
Yes.
you got big plans for next 4th of July, sir.
Yeah,
Understand
we
how
started
it
having
works.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. I wish we could too. I don't know. I've given up on fireworks. I can't give any more of my heart in my energy to that one. I wish we could, because it's a huge bummer to not have, it, but it's out of my hands. Okay. Anything else for 4th of July, guys? Okay.
Oh, 5K that morning.
Oh, the 80s, okay.
Yeah, we are working, I am working on that with Rexon, with CCM.
Is that what happened?
I thought that was the other good.
It was, they didn't respond to me last year, and I have gotten a response from them this year, so I'm just assuming they're out of the 5K from the July. I could be wrong, if they come back to it, we can all work together on it, it's not exclusive, but CCM already definitely wants to do it, and I'd like to bring that back. Is it fine? Yeah. I think you want it.
I have one question.
Go ahead, sir.
Let's start with.
Do you need help with music licensing?
Probably I will,
Okay, so then you'll just need to make Georgetown Cultural Arts Program a partner.
yes. You will.
Okay.
No.
I will be on
And then we'll charge you, I think it's $6.
okay.
You can call CSAC, you can buy it, and you can lodge a complaint from that.
It's cheaper than bonding average.
Or the fine level.
Absolutely.
It's a racket, I'm telling you. but-
Well,
Sure. All right, so.
Sorry,
So our next meeting will be just basically finalizing that schedule for the 4th, so you can have it pretty well publicized. We can try to get it organized in between, so we can at least get it up on the website and then we can tweak it at the next meeting. That would be
Yeah,
ideal.
the tentative up on the website, but again, we'll update that presentation as well, and I'll do that probably ASAP. I think we're pretty good on the schedule, we just one or two things that need to be figured out, but I like to take that ASAP as well.
All right. Then you got, next thing is gonna be, honorary Mayor Parker's Dog Days of Summer.
I don't have a ton of updates on it, I have a call with Dustin, to figure out his sponsor side of it, and what that will look like. That's kind of important for me to figure out from what you mentioned.
Brian, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for hanging out for a little bit. We appreciate you guys coming. Go ahead.
So that's kind of where I was at, it's just figuring out what that sponsor. What that's gonna look like, and everything will kind of sort of fall around, but that will look like, I know we don't have the band anymore, but this was kind of.
Just like you want to.
Yeah, they're not available. Okay. So, Sweetie's still working on replacing that band, but it was a little bit different.
Because they were gonna sponsor that.
Yeah, they'll still sponsor our bands, not the one that they, so we don't have music. And yeah, that one has kind of gone there a little bit, but I did reach out to Dustin to try to figure that things out. So I think I'll probably circle back with the Sweetie and Dustin and get a little more detail. I mean, we threw out a whole bunch of ideas last in our last meeting, and I think they're all great, and I want to keep moving forward on them as far as, the dog friendly activities, dog costume contest, fly music, obstacle, like a obstacle course or agility type dog sort of thing. I feel like it's getting more dog focused than more babies focused, but that's okay. I think that's a good thing. But still keeping with the block party type feel of face painting and walks and all of those types of old school 80s activities. So if we had music to go on with it, that would be cool. But that's where I am at. Okay. You can't find this dog tape, by the way.
Is there something in the chat?
That was just my note out to people saying if you want to speak.
Oh, okay, sorry, I just looked up and noticed it.
Yeah, no, you're good.
We were missing somebody.
When is the Parker thing going on?
August 12th.
I'm sorry?
August 12th
Okay, thanks.
is the proposed date.
Okay, so we'll spend a lot more time on writing that next meeting.
August 13th.
15?
13th.
13, okay.
Okay, well, I didn't verify that it was that.
August
But it's a Saturday. 11 to 4 is the proposed hours for that.
2022.
And then like at where would it be, Whirling?
No, on 6th.
6th Street.
It'll be a street closure.
It's just full 6th Street closure, flag party,
Okay. Anything else on dog days this summer?
Schools will still benefit, proceeds, that's kind of the.
The school?
On behalf of the school board that I will be sworn into in 2 weeks, I say thank you. I probably say no.
How many boards are you on? People in house.
For my, it'll be like, for my insanity. I'm kind of for my word or something I need. Banners, I'm gonna do just kind of the update on the banners, so we've had a lot of meetings on banners. Jen and Mary and I drove the entire length of town and got a 100% firm count on the number of banners that need to be replaced, and then Mary and I met with Rick yesterday on the budget piece. So what is gonna happen is all of the banners with lettering are gonna get replaced, every single one, so. Realize we're so passionate about banners. So all of the banners that have any lettering is gonna be replaced. I do have a question in the file that you sent. There is this one row red photo without a lettered banner in one of the sets.
It was for a set that had an odd number of holes.
Okay, so that I wasn't 100% clear on if we were missing one or if there was a good watch
The
for
ones up by the, I'm sorry, by the post office.
Perfect, and then the other thing is that we are replacing we came to account of 4 that they're just like trashed, like from not being hung properly and whatever. So there's 4 photos that are also gonna get replaced. The gauge of the new banner is gonna be heavier. Jen has resourced all of the bids, the budget is there. So, what I'm wondering is if we can vote today on an up to amount to facilitate it.
Yeah.
Would that be appropriate?
Yeah.
And so should we grab Mary and make sure that the supplemental is correct?
For,
So we could vote to an up to amount.
sure. What she gave you it's not on there?
Well, we know we need a supplemental.
Okay, so you need a
We
supplemental.
only get 3,000 in our budget,
Okay,
and I think we probably need 6,000 roughly to do all of them.
okay,
And that, so we wouldn't go over that, but that way she can get these done before March.
sure.
But I wanna make sure that,
I can go ask her if you'd like.
is that okay?
Yes.
Sorry, right?
So you want, well, you kind of run the meeting.
Not to exceed,
Not to exceed 6.
not to exceed 6,000.
Gotcha.
And then at the very least, we can, and if we're over that amount, I don't think we would.
So, the original people I know that issues, but they're about a quarter of the cost of anybody else. With the heaviest,
With heavier gauge.
they go all the way to 22 ounce, although we didn't necessarily recommend go that high, it doesn't give a lot of additional help, but they can do 18 for sure. So, another discussion, but I didn't have that bid until last night, so I didn't have that.
No, it's
to
totally,
give to you.
what was their bid?
Per unit, 45. If you do away without the one splits, he recommends one splits, but most people don't like them, because there's splits, and then I have those kind of funky.
Yeah.
So I would stay away from
And
that.
the Denver print too.
I know,
Whatever works, seriously.
14, or 45, 50, 40 per unit.
And that's going times 38 total. That's only $1,700.
There is that, that was already the pictures matching the new, the heavier.
Hi. Hi, do we have money? Okay, we can't do a supplemental right now, because I need to justify you've got X amount of extra income. So therefore, we can increase your budget.
So we can just come out of our budget then.
It'll either come out of two things. It can either come out of your reserve,
Okay.
and I think there's enough in there right now that's close. Extra. And we can just increase it that way. Or we can wait to just do the supplemental, and I'm sure that your like business license and stuff are probably going to exceed what we budgeted. So.
Okay.
Either way. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter which way we do it.
But we can just go out with now.
You can go ahead and the $3,000 is not.
Okay.
So.
So we voted to.
You could do,
that.
yes.
But and then I will make you that. Is that all right?
I know.
Just fireflies.
Yeah, exactly. Just almost doing smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I think everything seems to be going really well. Business of people are being, that's not wood, find real wood. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, if you wanna include it, then we'll work through it as the year goes on.
Okay, all right, that works, because we were under the gun to get them, to try and get them ordered. So Denver print though, that's insanely cheap, and that's a concerning cheap to me because of what we're dealing with. It was $17.29 total. Thank you so much, Mary.
No problem. Did you need anything else on that spreadsheet?
No.
Before I start something?
No,
Okay,
you
good.
are so good. I'm gonna
Okay,
geek out on Excel after the meeting. It's like my therapy, I love it. We literally could replace the entire set. Under $3,000. I mean, I don't know, the quality of what they did was so poor. That's my issue. Pardon?
Then why would we use them?
I mean, the only reason would be because they have the only benefit I can see is that they already have and they have everything outside the updated lettering. There's, I mean, they screwed up the measurements. They were not nice to Kyle.
It wasn't like that, it was just incompetence, so.
That's
Like the diameter or circumference.
Yeah, it was like,
Where was design, entire meeting was supposed to know what we can buy that. And they should have clarified, and they didn't, they just went forward.
what's the next bit?
116,
116. So
Can we get samples, or is that people doing dyes and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I went down and looked at some ones there. Yeah, yes and no. The problem is they don't keep the 18 and the 20 stones on stock because people don't order them very often. So we can, he can get them in and I can go back down and touch and feel them, but 18 ounces is what we had previously, in our previous scanners, so I feel like that is the way.
And what we currently have is 60.
How long did those last, kind of involved in the previous?
The first ones lasted years.
We did also
And
18 ounces.
I don't remember what the ounces were, I didn't order them, but.
That's what they told me.
But they
I don't know what the
were
company
years.
is.
And we didn't have the flaking problem with baby being loose, that was all new. You know, where the finish is coming off with movement.
Have we got received a bid from the company that originally did it?
Nobody
Nobody
knows
knows
that
who it
is.
We don't have that in our.
Can we ask, maybe ask Mary?
I did, she doesn't know
okay.
either. I cannot find, it's not on them anywhere, it's
That's
sitting on my bag, it's like.
probably because it was done through Scotty. Scotty was still alive, and he probably looked this up. Can we ask his price? Maybe ask
I
Brian.
did from the people who do, Frisco's, I mean, they're all between, 116 and 250 per unit for the 18 ounce.
Well, I think like $50 a gallon for my banners, and they're intended to be temporary, and they hold up better than the ones we purchased.
And I got a bid from them as well, that was my most expensive bid.
And this is banners.com, so it's, yeah, it's
So,
not,
right,
it's not something we're going to do a large scale project with, but it's
Can
good
I ask
stuff.
a question? The one, the company with the lowest bid, is that who did ones before, but they ended up not doing well?
That's the one, so the one we're currently. The currently ones, that's the bid for 45.50, but they're the ones that are really like tired. And we had issues with that in the lead up. There was a huge debacle over a circumference versus diameter discussion, and it was so.
They printed a whole set of banners that weren't fit. And then
Made him,
there was weird
yeah,
refund issues.
they wouldn't take responsibility for it.
And that's the same company that the lowest bid?
Yeah, the only advantage to them now, in my opinion, is that they have all the right information.
That, the only reason, literally the only reason that we, to consider them is because they have the information. And they, you know.
It's But it's a PDF file.
Yeah, it wasn't hard.
Yeah, no, that shouldn't be an issue.
I know. The
I have a difficult time voting for them.
I think it would be easy to defend to the selectmen that the reason you don't want to go with the lowest bid is because you've got customer service issues and issues with the product. I think that's all you need to say.
I mean, what are your thoughts?
The board on a totally different issue had a similar situation with another supplier just a few months ago, so this is still fresh in our minds, and I agree with you that as long as it's justified, when we see the bids, when we see the three bids and why you're going with not the low bid, and there's a reasonable explanation. And the board indicated to you last fall, after we started to see these issues, that we were prepared to support replacing. So
Jen, you said you had another bid too, so that you've got the.
I got like 6 bids, but I
You
can
said,
sit there.
okay.
Yeah.
Can you just run through the numbers really fast and the companies just for the record?
So it does go without saying though, that,
I think I only have 2.
if it's a policy to
Right.
send the lowest
So you got me Monster,
kind of hands down.
they make me
You
know.
mentioned the cost of
The
how-
last one I got from them was that.
The cost of how-
Okay, you guys,
Sorry.
there's a lot of people talking, I don't know.
I'm trying to just, I want to hear this because I'm trying to hear.
No, I'm just on my soapbox,
You never run soapbox.
you know, taking the lowest bid, then waiting for something to break, then going and getting a different company, all the time spent, volunteer time, things are falling apart, you know. I would hope that the board of selectmen would, if you got 3 bids and whoever's coming up with the bids is saying, we're recommending the highest bid, I hope that doesn't just disqualify the bid.
No, and we have done that in the past for other things. So,
Yeah, okay.
As long as there's justification.
So I've got Denver Print 4550 unit, which would be a total of 1729. Ink Monster 116 unit would come to $4,408. And what's your third bid?
So this is really weird, I asked them for an updated bid, and they gave me some crazy numbers, but a Great American Print Shop. Initially, their bid was 216, it's weird that they don't follow on the 16 number. I asked them for a bid on a quantity of 65, and it came back with 900, which is ridiculous, I mean, that's a quarter of the original bid, so there's a disconnect, I just got that in there. There's a disconnect, so I'll follow back up with them, but to see if the quantity changes the price. Because, so I totally screwed that up initially and thought we only were replacing 8 banners. So some of those higher bids are because the quantity was lower, so I circled back to get the right amounts, and that's what he came back with, so I will. What he said.
So the Board of Selectmen is meeting on Tuesday, so we're gonna need this information like now, so that it can go on the agenda and, you know.
So do you want me to get, so the only that I like to add today. Yeah, right now, right here,
What's the awesome thing?
18.
So here's what I would like to see us do just to speed us up, so we can be efficient and try to potentially have these.
So Jack-
already, because the turnaround is 7 days. Okay, so what I would like to see us do, if you guys are all good with it, is vote to not to exceed 6,000, which is coming in the average of the 2 highest bids. The highest bid is 8,208 on 216. The second highest bid is 4,408, and then the lowest bid is 1729 from Denver Printing, who we are not moving towards. Then we can go on Tuesday night, I can go to the Board of Selectmen with the finalized information. We can, and I can pledge that I will not put the least expensive bid up as a contender. It would be one of the last 2 companies.
Well,
If you guys are.
I like the Foster, the second lowest bid personally, I mean, I have lots of conversation and they're very responsive and they're helpful. Any local that we can go with where we can actually, once they get the vinyl in, we can go touch it and look at it and see and compare it to what we currently have. I think it's good as opposed to going with an online company where we don't have that involved.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in knowing what the ink looks like on it, how the printing looks, how, what they've done before, what large towns they've done before. I don't know why we're not using. Right. I think that,
Hold on, hang on, I've got 2 here talking at once. Yeah. Paul, continue.
why are we reinventing the wheel as a small company when we know that there are large municipalities around here that are resort communities that use these things on a daily basis, on a regular basis, they keep them for a long time. And they have the same weather conditions that we do. They have done this over and over and over again, but we have not, and I think that we should follow suit with the big boys. I don't know if that's gonna be so extensive and derivative, but at the same time, it's penny wise and pound foolish to go with who we think is or to take a risk on it, because we've been through this 4 times now, 3 times. So that's my opinion. It's too much of a risk, it's too much of an outlay for a small group to take a risk like that. I mean, there's already proved people out there, so that's what I do.
My question is, does the product come with a warranty? And so some people might say no, some people might say yes, and if the company that says yes is the higher price, you might lean towards that one, because there's some sort of protection.
No, that's super good, that's a very valid point.
90 days and 90 miles per hour.
That would get us through.
There was a comment right here I was missing about, I don't know, there was a lot of people talking, I wanna make sure I'm not listening.
There's another company that I use called Impression Screen.
Okay.
She does all my rack cards and business cards, and they do a great job.
Do you know she does banners?
They can be banners, yeah, I'll call it there.
I just got her contact info, so right now, I am going to, right after this meeting, I will send out bids from Direct Media, who does Frisco's, with the they haven't answered me about the change in quantity. So they do Frisco, so that would be a proven withstanding long-term, and they are also local in Denver. Egg Monster, we already have Denver printing, I'll get from Gary's impressions. And then the last one that gave me the wonky bed that I just
So I
said.
just kind of threw it on there. I mean, it's in there, it's fine.
So that'll be 5.
That's great. Okay.
And I should have those numbers accurate to the counts of 38, and 37, 41 in my head. To the count of 38, and then,
I'll count it again, just because I'm gonna triple do it.
okay, because my count is a little different, I had 41, but we can check on that, it's close enough for the big purposes, but. I was driving around this morning, counting, but
I tried to.
I wanted to go like walk and run and count, but the weather was a little good this morning, so.
All right,
Take out
We probably get.
so are you guys prepared, are we going to go up to 6, not to exceed 6,000?
Yes.
Yes, everyone's, so. Can I have someone make a motion to approve a reprint of these banners not to exceed $6,000? In a second,
Second.
all in favor? Motion carries, okay,
Can you just ask them for references? They'll be able to give you references for outdoor products.
Sure,
all right,
Yeah,
references and warranty, I think are
outdoor products.
yes.
Well, I went to the discount group and they gave me really heavy vinyl and the vinyl was beautiful. And then it was the fuzziest, most pixelated, disgusting image I ever saw and it was high resolution. So that's why I'm so concerned.
no, it's fair, it's, we haven't heard on these, this is gonna be ultimate, I'll use it. Okay, alternate vendor locations, Jen, go ahead.
Still working on obviously alternate center allocations for anything that we want to do, for the summer. It was proposed or thought Empire is bringing back their farmers market every other Saturday for the summer. And I would love to alternate with them if anybody likes that idea. If they hate it, we can just stop right now. But I keep getting asked about doing farmers markets and in the true sense of the farmers market, I don't, what is her name? From Empire is going to be sending me her vendor list and if it's farmers market-ish, cool. If it's not, if it's just keep kind of vending stuff, I don't know how else to nicely say that. If, no, we don't want that. But if it is truly that type of vendor, then I would definitely look into it. The only really places that we have to do it are City Park and the hotel parking lot. That would be the 2 proposed locations. They're starting theirs in 4 weeks, so if we alternated the following week, that would give us 5 to try to put something together if there's interest from the board.
I'm gonna open that farmer's market discussion, I'm just gonna sit here quiet for a minute, because everybody knows how I feel about that.
I'm so good in that part, but I want to bring it because I do get asked all the time. Why don't we do this?
I had one once.
I know.
Not here,
It was in Atlanta. It was okay. You have to have good buy-in for your vegetable stock. You have people who are actual farmers not purchasing stuff from a place and then bringing it to you. That's a problem.
Sure.
They will go to and there, of course, produce is readily available. But the biggest thing that we did immediately when we started it is we had a percentage, it was very low, of vendors who could sell either their crafts and their handmade crafts only, no resale items ever. And we only had like, I think it was like solo, like 10 to 20% of people. Everything else had to be food goods or handmade sundry goods, so people could sell their soap. And that prevented us from ending up with things like, well, I don't know, tater guns. And
It's very well.
because otherwise it starts to look like that festival instead of a farmer's market. The other thing is you have to have a commitment of the number of people who will go and buy them out every time they come in, if the people don't come to it, because it takes about a year and a half to 2 years to get the foot traffic to one of those things. And people don't want to come to you if you don't have the qualifications as a farmer's market, you don't have the track record. And at the same time, people don't want to come to your farmer's market if they don't know that they can get good produce. So you would have to get a commitment buying guarantee. I will tell you that I have a few people that did that, but one of them, the biggest one was me. And I used to just go home every Saturday and Sunday night to the farmer's market and make a bunch of succotash. So. However, it did pick up, it did do pretty well. We had farmers markets almost every that's my
Based upon what Paul just said, it's a long-term strategy. It's not, hey, we got an open weekend, let's throw a farmer's market together. And it's probably something that should be done in Strauss Park once it's rebuilt, that because you don't want to start it in a parking lot or in City Park and people come and have a bad experience. You really want to build the business up over a couple of years, you got to put your best foot forward from day one.
So perhaps they will for a year.
I think that's good advice.
And during the time.
I don't disagree, I think it's, I'm just throwing it out there and so, but if it is done and when it is done in the future, I want it to look like what you're describing, and I want that to be the feel. I don't want it to look like a festival or just a vendor throwing together free for all. I do want it to maintain the truest sense of a farmer's market, and that we may not have, certainly not have time. And I think being able to use Strauss Park and exactly what you said is a great way to respond to why we're not doing it.
Novel event for Strauss.
For the new park, I agree.
And it's a very small, it doesn't have to be large, one wasn't giant, and it was in, we had a bocce court, Central Court Park, it was very similar to this, it was almost the same size. So that doesn't matter, that part doesn't matter as much, but my other thing is, we had to go all over the state and beg people to come in and meet. So you go to the state and you say, okay, we'll give you free booth and all, and you go to every farmer's market to figure out what they're doing. And some of them are cutthroat, some aren't, and then you have to pay vendor streams.
That's why it'd be great to see what the vendor list looks like.
Yeah.
For a fire. It is.
What days are your meetings?
You said every other Saturday.
It's on it.
Is it?
It's on it.
It's
Sorry, how we communicate it, so we just possibly turn back and forth, but. Let's remember. May 28th is the first Saturday that they are starting it. And ending, they don't have an ending date, but September, possibly early October.
Is there anybody sitting at the table right now that feels differently and would like to try to see this get pursued? Thank God, okay.
Yeah.
I have farmers market PTSD. You guys know. Farmers market was rough.
What do you mean, part about the those that push that?
That was a dark time for,
Oh.
that was a,
We're trying to make it a more positive experience.
You need your.
I loved it, but. Oh, shoot.
You can't just go, we're gonna do it next weekend.
Five.
I know, but it just doesn't work out. Those are the ones you look at and everything in.
QR code cards.
I'd like to order another 150 QR codes similar to the ones we used for Christmas market with the Busy Bee. Who's working on photography, as long as everyone's okay with that, they're $309 for 150 of them. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
We can use that.
I get requests for them all the time, and I thought they were good.
How many?
Well, that last one you just 150. and
Last
that
one,
one's 500, yeah.
Yeah.
500, good.
So what would that look like?
Well, 150 was 309. We should be giving us a better
500 to
price.
be 320.
I can probably get it better.
Yeah, there should be a better price if we're getting a higher quality.
What cards?
Just
What do you put them on?
$2.
The QR code, too much on the postcard. It's the one with the Disney on it, it was
That's
super
right.
popular.
That's great.
People love, yeah, people love them, so.
If I can stay under 500, we also, $500.
We'll make a motion for not to exceed $500.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. I can get it done for $300.
Can I please get a motion to approve, expenditure for QR code postcards not to exceed $500?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
I,
Motion carries.
I must too, who made the motion.
Mary made a
I was
motion,
like,
Kevin.
thanks.
Very like, whispered.
Choose for clerks.
I open mouth and everything.
That never happened.
I know.
Okay, so we've got 3 more quick agenda items, but we are wrapping up. Mary had requested update on the fob for the Alpine hose and this, and an update for the streetlights. I don't know if you've had time to tackle that yet, as you have just recently joined us, here in Georgetown, but that's gonna be you.
I think it's an easy one. Jennifer, has Kelly dropped off the fobs for the Alpine house?
The cards
Well, whatever.
for the key, no,
whatever we-
no,
Okay, so
not yet.
that's that answer.
Eric, have you got background on the bell tower? Just people, it works, it breaks, it has to get fixed and everything else, and
It's working right now,
it's working right now, and it's very important to downtown businesses for it to work. It creates the ambiance in town, you hear it, it makes this town very different from anywhere else, so it's more than just the bell ring.
Staff are aware of the lights, street lights, and they're trying to come up with solutions.
Excuse me.
That's all I'm aware of at this point.
I know. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. God, the worst, you're the worst ever.
This guy.
I will find out, okay. So I just became aware of it.
Yeah.
And so I did mention it yesterday, I think it was after our discussion. And, I spoke to Scooter about it, and he said that he is aware and they're trying to come up with some solutions. So I will mention to Excel, does Excel, are you aware of do they own the poles or?
They do.
They do, okay.
Yeah, and Steve Rabb was, he got the furthest with this. And he had a contact name and apparently, yeah, XL owns them and there's some sort of relationship between the town of Georgetown and XL when it comes to maintenance. And your predecessors were putting town staff on those poles, but that may not be necessary. I think XL is supposed to be doing either part or all of the maintenance. It just hasn't been pursued.
And are these the ones you were talking about earlier, that the tops were shearing off?
All these in the historic commercial district. And it's, it's the glass lanterns, it's exposed wiring, it's a lack of paint. It's, broken pieces, missing pieces. The light bulbs are, there are a variety of light bulbs. There's supposed to be one type of light bulb that we all worked on getting, now they're all mixed up. And mixed up, and then the ones on the north side of 6th Street were running 24/7. And apparently the town pays the power bill. So those
Those are also
are
violated
the
dark sky.
issues. What's that?
Those are also violated dark sky.
I don't know, well, they were running during the day,
Oh.
they were running day
Yeah.
and night on the north side of 6th Street, I don't know if that's been fixed, but there should be a list of condition issues that I wrote up for Steve, talked to Excel about it. And so, so I can make sure you know where Excel stands on this before engaging town staff, because you may be wasting town staff's time and the town's money if Excel is just not fulfilling their part of their commitment.
I will go back and look through Steve's notes.
Yeah, it'll be pretty recent.
If I can't find it, I'll reach out to you.
Yeah,
And
okay.
forward that.
I don't know who the contact at Excel was, but he did make that contact. And that person acknowledged the issues, so that was the furthest we got. So I would continue that conversation.
Lights up on. Oh, God.
So this is the equivalent of being the mayor of Chicago and having a snowstorm and not having enough plows to plow the street. We just keep going through town administrators just because of this one. I'm joking. But it's very important.
In defense of Steve, this is a very long-term problem.
Yeah.
Years
That's
back,
true.
And it just doesn't seem like it's that complicated if people just know what they're responsible for and take care of it. This goes back at least 4 years. I think I'm even being conservative on that. We started to are an issue. And I don't understand why.
Kevin keeps chasing away administrators, that's why.
But,
Don't sit to.
the functional,
Let's call it pass them.
the functional side of it is what your first, winter in Georgetown, it's dark, it gets dark early.
Like 3 o'clock.
The downtown looks like it's abandoned, because there's no lights, you're walking on the sidewalks. And something, Mary jokingly, but not jokingly said, let's string lights up. We even tried to get approved, strings of light going across the street, just to make it look like we're open during the dark days of work.
But it all goes back to the poles not being maintained.
Yeah.
And so it's a big problem,
It really
and
is.
it's an old problem.
So this is probably a like kind of a precedent.
This should define my legacy.
We should talk about
In the first 30 days.
Things that gets me right.
I like the challenge, I like it.
Yeah, Rick, you're gonna be all right.
It's funny, but it's when he's.
The very last thing on the agenda today is we just need to have a very brief discussion. It will become a more formal discussion next meeting. We need to start talking about the potential for a lodging tax again. I know it's like, but unfortunately, we don't have another revenue or funding source for this group. And Rick does have some really awesome ideas, in a meeting he had with Mary and I yesterday, our potential funding and revenue sources for us. But the one that would be the most consistent would be this potential lodging tax. Mary was kind enough to compile some sales tax numbers for me. Mary said that I have not been able to extrapolate for you guys because I had swim lessons and all kinds of other activities yesterday.
Little light, that's okay.
Yeah, and so next meeting I'll come in with some actual numbers of what it would have generated for us in 2022, or excuse me, 2021. So we can start making some educated decisions. It's hard because we certainly don't want to alienate our friends in the hotel and lodging side of things. But we don't have another way to pull revenue into this group. And so, and then it's a chicken and egg problem. We can't do more things and be more successful without money. And so, I just wanted to put it out there. Any points of discussion or questions or anything right now, we can start that, but we don't have any firm numbers yet. I think obviously one of the big steps is going to be engaging with Justin on this, who is not able to be here today. I know he's very passionate about it, and we need to start having that discussion, but also engaging with the other overnight lodging spots and, short-term rentals.
The timeline for the board to put this on a ballot, we would need to have a recommendation from you by early August, so that it can go on the ballot in November. So since we meet,
We basically have 4 meetings.
we need to have a recommendation to the board. The board is inclined favorably at this point, unless there's something else that comes up.
I'm pro, I'm one of those pro, but the landscape is changing on how funds can be used and what's gonna happen with funds for tourism dollars, because there's an initiative to release the spending of tourism dollars, and there's a bit of, if you have your own taxes and if you have certain things, there are specific things that can or cannot change, and it may cut us out of countywide funds if we do it, so we need to consider what, and I don't have it memorized, we need to consider what the changing landscape is there, because even though it's a good measure in a lot of ways, it may shoot us in the foot for larger expansion and funds beyond what we're looking at specifically.
So to kind of get you guys up to speed on that, there is a bill at the State House right now that would basically allow for the diversion, am I explaining it appropriately? So Colorado has Tabor. Tabor is a very, very strict tax code and makes so that you have to spend certain money on certain things and you can't deviate from that. It would allow for funds that come in from tourism to be diverted to conservation efforts and
What it does, it just expands it, so you, from my impression of it, and I was at a meeting that we were talking about it, is that it just basically takes those funds that were specifically earmarked toward advertising, marketing, your community, toward things that could be associated with marketing and advertising the community. And I know the county, some people in the county are looking, from what I understand, I might be incorrect, looking into diverting some of those funds. Can't be used that. Some of those funds could be diverted, say, to trails, because they're community based, they're those are considered draws to the community. But there was some kind of a thing, and I need to read it again, but there's some kind of a thing that if we have our own funds coming from our own tax base, it's local, it might cut us out of larger tax base funds. And even though we like to work as a unit that assists with our county tourism bureau, the landscape is completely going to shift when that happens. And my suggestion is that we all on that before we start considering the conversation completely. So like already from next meeting and stuff, but I suggest.
I just pulled up like and it also is allowing for the bill to sign up on April 1st. I'm not hooked on the big gas Wi-Fi.
Do you guys need the Wi-Fi?
It's called, it's Brady Road, Paul.
Meetings I've never been.
That
And what is the password?
Well, if it's me when we're not.
Yeah.
Oh, the station is on the 11th.
It turns off after a certain. Whatever, I'll tell you later. Right here.
I didn't know.
I tried.
So it was HB 22-1117. So for the
What's the number, sorry?
HB 22-1117. No problem. It also does allow for the diversion of tourism dollars towards affordable workforce housing, which that could be a potential benefit for the county. But it's a tricky thing because we're not 100% clear on like what we're getting from the county in some respects on the tourism side. I mean, we know that Cass is like obviously supportive of the entire county and does a lot of marketing for everybody. But there's like from an actual like dollar standpoint, like I don't know if we see anything.
Should we have a special meeting with Cass and others about this, just this one topic?
Probably.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
think that
idea.
would be wise, because I am certainly not up to speed on this.
No, there's a lot of new, like this just got signed in on April 1st, so this is less than a month old, so.
Yeah, can I speak on it? real quick?
Absolutely.
So I had a meeting last week, it was a quarterly mayors and commissioners meeting, and this was brought up. And they were talking about trail management, and they talked about this multi-jurisdictional housing authority where these types of funds can go towards them to try to do collaborative efforts of affordable housing in our big areas, Idaho Springs, Georgetown specifically. And so they were trying to figure out bigger ways to get more funding, and so they were wanting to pull some of the funding from the tourism dollars. And so this is all in the early stages, nothing's been determined, but you're absolutely right, the county's already looking at it.
And unfortunately, the county doesn't understand the long-term effect of direct marketing to people because they've been benefited from it for the last 10 years. So they see it as low-hanging fruit. At our meeting last time, it was the ex-director of the Colorado Tourism Bureau. Colorado did cut down their funding at one point because they have the same issue that our county does now. And we thought that tourism dollars don't necessarily come from direct advertising. And because they don't understand the difference between an immediate result, an immediate satisfaction, and long-term advertising, and completely keeping your name out there and your branding out there. So what they did is they shot themselves in the foot, and our tourism level went way down. We were to show that to the members, and Cass will show that to you as well. And then our numbers have gone up over the last time since I've lived in this county, and since I've been involved in tourism, and Cass has been involved in tourism. We watched our numbers become the leaders of the country, and what we're about to do right now is shoot ourselves in the foot for instead of finding more creative ways of funding affordable housing and working with organizations that already do it, like mine, we are shooting ourselves in the foot again, and we're gonna reduce tourism dollars. So CAS does a lot of stuff for our community, but it's intangible, because what we have to look at is that we are out there, our name is out there, and all of this earned media that we're getting and stuff is a combination between what we're doing and what she's doing and what the train is doing. And the fact that our name is all over TikTok, our name is all over social media, and that people are never taking videos of what we're doing is part of that long-term goal advertising campaign. So we need to look into it, we need to be ready to lobby against our county. Because I will tell you, 3 commissioners, as much as I like them, they are short-sighted and they do not understand marketing, and they think they are making decisions without approaching the community on it. And I think it's, as a community, the commission, we need to look at how we're going to, if we're going to create a special tax base for ourselves, if that's going to shoot ourselves in the foot, and whether or not we agree to support advertising of this community. It's something that I feel very strongly about, but also because they are not invited. They do not, by the way, our commissioners were invited to that one portion of the meeting that we were all in, they were not there. They did not attend. They attended something possibly the next day, but that is what happened. And we need to be very aware of what we're doing with this. It's a potential trigger to kind of kill the momentum that we've had for all of these years. Thank you.
You're absolutely, just trying to clarify the point I was trying to make, not some disparaging remark about CAS, it was saying that we do not get direct dollars from the county, from their tour, they're, okay.
I just use yours as a thing.
No, it's all
So,
good,
yeah, just
but
saying,
I just wanna make sure everyone knows we don't have any, from the current tourism tax, we do not have a direct.
It's more of a halo effect.
Correct, yeah, so I just wanna make sure that everyone understood the correlation and why the potential need for the lodging tax is there. Because even though there is a county lodging tax, we don't receive any fiscal.
We don't see it. And
We do,
like I
yes,
said,
we
yeah.
benefit from the effort, the overall, but we don't have honestly direct control over how that money is spent, or we could do it for our own part of the money, which is why we would need the benefit of a potential. But I won't say lodging tax, I will say revenue source for this commission to do advertising at the state level, to engage with tourists on the Front Range with our own marketing efforts. Similar to what we've seen in our counterparts in the Springs. And you've got a lot of content, there's a lot of mixed messages, that's a good way of putting it. But within their, between their, I'm sorry, what do they have? Chamber, pardon me, thank you. Because they have a chamber and then they have some marketing firms. Say it yourself. It's gonna sit here.
So you said we only have like 4 times that we can meet. What do we need to do in order to try to look at what you had just said, that this is not gonna shoot ourselves in the foot?
I do think that we should talk about having a special work session with CAS. That's probably a really important one, but we also need to take the temperature. We need a number, first up, which is on me. I have the sales tax base for the lodging for 2022. I can use that information to know the 4% of Georgetown, I can come up with what that would generate for us as far as what we would be looking at if we did 1%. We need to engage with the people who actually will be impacted by the tax. I personally do not think that anyone's gonna leave a hotel for having to spend $1 on $100 room, but there are people that will tell me. And I respect that, and I would like to see some evidence from them about how this would be an impact to their operations and their businesses. I don't wanna see anyone leave Georgetown. I do think that we, from a market standpoint, we are less expensive than Summit County. I don't need to, that's a fact. And we have some phenomenal lodging options here, and is it going to change the landscape for those people? Will they continue to go somewhere else? I don't know where they would stay.
Yeah,
But-
Breckenridge, only those are way more expensive.
And honestly, Idaho Springs doesn't have the quality of lodging we have.
That's true.
Well, people at this level typically say Greater County, it's on Summit County.
In a row,
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of moving parts, and a work session is probably the most beneficial way of breaking that down, because it's gonna be way too complicated to solve today. But it's gonna be on the agendas and it needs to just be out there. And, you know, for now, I think that I can start talking to the hotels, or if maybe you and I wanna go talk to the hotels and kind of like figure out, you know, what that would look like for them. Cause I want, you know, they probably are gonna love it, but is it going to be, what could we do with this money to enhance the tourist experience? Would we be able to draw more tourists, so the impact would be less? I know
That's
that,
how it should be.
I think too, if we can talk and have a collaborative effort of saying what that extra funds is gonna go towards.
Yeah.
So that they can understand, like, okay, I'm willing to go another $1 because I see the benefit. So if we can shore up that benefit, then the cost will be just.
if we know that that money is going direct to marketing, tourism, advertising, then ultimately it would be advantageous for anyone. And the other discussion point that did come up, and we need to kind of check the legal side of it, probably with Jerry, is if we did say 1% for like hotels and 2% for STRs. And I know SDR owners would maybe feel strongly about that, but again, is that another way to say, you know, to capitalize on the actual businesses that are employing people in the community, that are providing, you know, hotel lodging options? Yes?
I think you're in full favor.
Yeah. So that's the discussion, guys, before we wrap this up, and, do we have anything else on that? Any other points that need to be? Are these the, updated minutes?
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
Just go.
let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any notes on the minutes to pick up, so. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
And a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, it is 9:47 AM, and I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Thanks,
Who
everybody.
seconded? Sorry.
Steve,
Steve, thank you.
Someone could actually, really?
Thank you all.
It was something about.